Before I even begin my presentation, let me make the premises of this presentation clear to everyone. This is not a horror storytelling or a crime thriller movie. This is a summarizing of a study which I have undertaken on the issue of serial killing. So, in this part of the presentation, I will be addressing a key question, a very relevant question in the research on serial killing. That is, why do they commit murders? I did my PhD on serial killing. So it was a 6-year long study which I have undertaken in the Department of Criminology, University of Madras, and then I kept on researching on the topic until now. And after conducting the studies and the submission of the PhD and award of it, I developed a theory out of my case studies which I have conducted. So during my study, I conducted case studies of 10 serial killers in from Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That means 5 serial killers in Kerala and 5 serial killers in Tamil Nadu. And later on, when I refined the definition of serial killers, I reduced those case numbers into 8 cases. Serial killers are a rare category of offenders. That means in the last 100 years, the reported incidents of serial killings are just above 100 and not many. Like if you follow the news, you can find around 100 plus cases in the media. That doesn't mean that there are not many serial killers. There will be many serial killers, but analyzing the media news are the only way we can understand the frequency of serial killing offenses. There is no other way, because our criminal justice system do not categorize murders in the statistics they release in the Crime in India report. So in that kind of situation, there is only one way to understand how many serial killing incidences are taking place in India. A media analysis brought around 100 serial killing incidents just in the 40 years. If you go a little bit more, like 100 years, the numbers will be almost the same, because before 40 years or 50 years, our medias were not as active as in the present time. So in the last 40 years, the reporting culture of media has changed, and that brought a lot of such incidents to the table of the readers. So why they kill? That question summarize what I am going to do today. The life course theory of serial killing, which I proposed recently, will be trying to understand why a person commits serial killing by analyzing the entire life of serial killers. So this is the structure of today's lecture. In the first part, I will look at the why, what and how many. Why should there be a theory on serial killers, first of all, and then what is serial killing, or a question which all of you know the answers for it: who is a serial killer, and then how many serial killers are already there. In the part 2, what do we know about them? So it's not about what all of us know about them. Where is the research on serial killers, serious research on serial killers are standing? That is what I'll be looking at in the part 2. And then in the part 3, how did I study serial killers? I will briefly give you the frame of my research methodology. How did I study the serial killers? And then I will explain to you in very few words the life course theory of serial killing I have recently proposed, and then I will give you an explanation of how this theory can be applied into real cases. If you understand the structure, it will be easy for you to follow my lecture. So why? The very first question, why serial killing need to be studied? The number one is curiosity. Everyone is so curious about serial killers, or any topic related to serial killing is a massive crowd puller. Whether it is a movie or a TV series or a Netflix series, people watch it just because the title serial killing is attached to it. That means there are a lot of curiosity on the subject, and people want to know about the subject, and therefore the subject need to be studied. And when there are a lot of curiosity on something, the content generated on that particular topic will be very large. That means there are more number of movies produced on crimes than any other genre in any part of the world. That means more number of movies produced on crime. So when general population, when they try to conceive an idea of serial killing, most of their opinions will come from movies, books, Netflix series, and many other TV series and crime shows, and then media reports. So sometimes these are all good, but in some of the situations this will create a prejudiced opinion of the concept of serial killing and the phenomenon of serial killing. And due to this, the research on serial killing should be promoted to balance a lot of artistic and highly sensationalized content available on serial killing. We have to balance it with certain scientific content, just to get a realistic picture of who is a serial killer and how they are motivated to commit serial killing. So most people think the answer for why someone is committing a serial killing is a mystery, and most of the movie directors think that we have to make it more mysterious in the movie. So there is no answer, only endless curiosity, and this curiosity will also affect the criminal justice system. That means the police, court, prison system, and entire even the research community is part of the society. These community will also share part of the opinions which people derive from artistic content. Then understanding human nature. When you study serial killers, it is not to take care yourself from ending up with a serial killer, or to save yourself from getting murdered by a serial killer, because serial killing is a rare category of offense, and your chance to end up with a serial killer is very less, very very less. Then why do we have to have studies on serial killers? Because there is not much difference between a serial killer and any one of us, understand? So sometimes the line where a person becoming a serial killer and a normal person could be very slim. So we are all not murderers, but though we have certain kind of aggression inside all of us, there are point where we think about murdering people because we are very angry with someone on something which they did. We feel offended and we wanted to murder, but on the very next moment we think like, okay, no, I'm not that kind of person, I'm not going to murder anybody, I am a sane person, I'm a normal person. But what if I tell you that if there are chances that anyone can become a murderer at any moment? So there is not a lot of difference between a murderer and a normal person. So it's a situation, and in that situation, uh, some aggression reaches a breaking point. Any person can commit a murder. So it is our duty to probe our own aggression. So we have to study aggression. When we study serial killers, they are the best candidate for studying human aggression. So by studying human aggression, we will understand more about our own nature, that is the human nature, and that knowledge is very useful for us when we live in a society where aggression will not often lead to positive outcomes. And then imbalance of literature. I already told you there are a lot of artistic content like movies. There are around 10,000, more than 10,000 books if you search the keyword serial killing in the largest platform for books. If you search on Amazon with the keyword serial killing, you will get more than 10,000 books. So more than 10,000 books written on this matter. Still, murders are a mystery. So that is the problem of the curiosity. That curiosity led to so much of content, and at the same time, there are only very few authentic studies conducted on serial killing all around the world. So there is an imbalance of literature. We have too many content on one side, which is artistic and which is inspired from pure fiction, and on the other side there are very less content which is research oriented. And then this entire thing will affect not just the common man, it will also affect the criminal justice system and how they are dealing with this issue. The number of murders a person has to commit to qualify as a serial killer is very important in the definition of serial killing. There is an argument on it. Some people believe that a person need to commit only 2 murders to be considered as a serial killer, and certain people believe that someone need to commit just 3 murders, not just 2. 2 cannot be a serial killer. And there are even researchers stating that a person need to commit 4 murders to consider him as a serial killer. And then a serial killer not just need to commit 2 or 3 murders minimum, but they also need to commit these murders with an interval in between them. That means there should be an interval between the murders, and after the interval they have to commit the murder. So this interval is very important. And when it is very important, what is the length of that particular interval? That interval can it be 5 minutes, or can it be 10 hours, or many days, or months, or years? So again, there is no agreement on it. And then certain experts of serial killing state that modus operandi is very important. A serial killer need to follow the similar modus operandi in all the murders, then only it can be a serial killing. And again, here there is a problem, like what if a serial killer changes his modus operandi in between? Can't he be a serial killer? So I do not think that is a valid argument, because many serial killers, even in my research, I found out serial killers used to evolve when they commit murder again and again. Even the way we make omelette in kitchen, the first time when we make omelette, we make a mess, and then every time when we do it, we get better and better and better, and then in the 10th or the 20th time, we make the most beautiful omelette. So like that, a serial killer will also evolve while committing the murder, and sometimes he changes his tools to make the things better. So sometimes some serial killers may not follow similar modus operandi. They will change it depending upon the practical situations. And then the motivation of person to commit the murder. That means a few psychologists opined that a person need to have psychological motivations for committing murder. Otherwise, it cannot be a serial killing. Again, here the problem is that What if those people who commit murders one after another for money? How about those people who are terrorists? Murdering is part of their agenda. They commit murder, and if they are not getting killed, they will keep on committing murders. Can't they be serial killers? And how exactly psychological motivations can be classified from other kind of motivations such as financial benefits? So there is a lot of confusions here in these characteristics, in these factors, rather than clear definition. So serial killing is committed by a person who has a persistent urge to commit murder again and again. He commits a murder, he becomes uh, calm, he cools down, and after a while he get into a mood where he need to commit the murder so that he will feel all right. So that is a serial killing. So that is the major characteristics which make or which qualifies a person to become a serial killer.